I'll give you $1 million a trip. So he went to flying. I did 2.5 years in prison. And while I was in, Barry had turned. So and I saw the plane. I knew the plane. So, Barry has done it. And I said, are you wired, Barry? He said, no. And he went to crying. And I just hugged Barry's neck. I said, my friend, they're going to kill you. He said, oh, no. I said, Barry, listen, look at me. They're going to kill you. And so I knew Barry. I thought, now let me ask Barry. So I asked Barry. Yeah, so I'll give you $1 million a trip. So he went to flying. And
so you split it, essentially, because you say you're making about $2 million of
2.5. So,
yeah. I mean, it's still great for him.
Yeah, exactly. And he said, you got to put $50,000 on there for Bill Clinton. So he said, the only place I'm going to land is Mena, Arkansas. So every time I'd give him $1 million, I'd put that other little thing on for the governor. And so he said, I'm going to have dinner with the governor tonight.
Yeah.
And,
please ignore this, right?
Yes, exactly.
Here's your donation. Please don't just ignore this. Everything's fine.
He might have been lying to me. Mr. Clinton, I don't know, but that's what he said.
Makes sense.
I paid $1.5 million to Mr. Clinton, or an imaginary Mr. Clinton.
Right. Somebody's
they got that call, Killary in Arkansas. I don't know no part of that. So I hired Barry, and then they just got begging me, so I hired another fellow, Jerry Wills, who lives here in Palos Verdes. So,
and was that the real turning point where that was your fatal mistake, turning it into an enterprise?
That didn't do it.
No,
they came and they arrested me for old marijuana charges. They charged me with a continuing criminal enterprise, which carries up to life in prison. I was number 41 for 400 pounds of marijuana. They got deal. They wanted my property. They wanted me to talk, but they knew nothing about Colombia. So I had a $5 million bail, and with Nebby here, and you had to prove where the money come from. They had no idea that I was sitting on that kind of millions of dollars.
Yeah,
they locked me up, and I couldn't get out, and everybody told on me. Everybody worked on my airplane, unloaders, everybody. They just rolled dominoes. So I'm left. And so I fell on the court, and they gave me a 5-year sentence, 25 years special parole. Anytime you violate, you'll do all the part, and 5 years probation, all stacked on top of one another. So I did 2.5 years in prison. And while I was in, Barry had turned. He turned state's evidence, went to working for him.
Right. DEA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just got out of prison, and I'm watching the TV, and there's Ronald Reagan blue eyes right on television in the morning. He said, we have absolute proof that the communist Sandinista government is in the cocaine running business. Well, I'd been refueling there all those years.
Mm-hmm.
And Barry had too. He couldn't believe it. So, and I saw the plane. I knew the plane. So, Barry has done it. Later on like a good book, it's called The Kings of Cocaine. You can see Pablo Escobar, striped his shirt. He's carrying those bales of cocaine from one plane to the other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's the picture he snapped.
Yeah. Well, he snapped 1,000 of them. And then he had to go back in there, and they're snapping inside and under the wing, and he goes there and takes them out of the camera. Right. You get to see him and that DEA agent, Jake Jacobson, would have been fed to the pigs.
Yeah.
Ain't no doubt. I mean, he's talking about,
so
he put the president of the Turks and Caicos, anyway, I should cut that out. So anyway, I love Barry, and Barry was our friend, but he got under such pressure that he snapped, and he went to work for him.
He flipped.
So he called, and he said, Roger, I'm coming out tonight. Meet me at this little French restaurant at 9:00. Oh, Lord.
And you already had a sense that this was...
I'm on probation. Got 30 years of probation on.
Right.
I just got out of prison. I'm still going every day or two to see his parole officer. And he was terrible. The nastiest man I ever met.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Oh, even the parole people hated him. They did. Stanley Schwartz. Oh, God. And so I went to the restaurant, and Barry was leaning up at the back, and I walked up to him in a room full of people, leather skirts, pistols under the shirt, all these women, men. And I said, "Are you wired, Barry?" He said, "No." I said, "Well, you talk to me. I ain't going to say nothing."
Mm-hmm.
So he went to telling me what happened, and he went to crying. And he put his hands up over his eyes, and the tears run between his fingers. He said, "Roger, I just couldn't do it. Facing 3 life sentences, I've told him everything. But you're my friend, and I put you under my umbrella. You just testify before grand jury. You can live anywhere you want to on earth, any name you want. Ain't nobody going to ever touch you again." I said, "They all DEA." He said, "Every one of them." I said, "Bring your head honcho over." So he brought over a man, I like him, Jake Jacobson.
Okay.
We'd been on the same side. We'd been friends.
Right.
I mean, we are still friends. It don't matter.
Right. Not anymore, it doesn't. No, at one point, it kind of does.
Even then, it just human being doing their job.
Yeah.
And so he came over and says, "You can come tomorrow first class with Mari, or I can take you down tonight and change, whichever one you want. But if I take you down tonight and change, the only place you'll ever see your family again, as long as you live, is in a federal penitentiary visiting room. I can promise you that." I said, "I'm going first class, Jake."
Mm-hmm.
So the next day, Mari and I flew down first class, or business class anyhow, and I went to a lawyer. And I said, "Mr. Lawyer, I got to do something." I told him what trip I'm in. I said, "Got to go to a grand jury this afternoon." He said, "Well, I tell you what, I'll represent you for $600,000, but I don't talk to snitches." Well, my face turned red. I said, "Well, I'm not a snitch, man." He said, "Well, that's what you're talking about." Right. Whoa, man, I've got to tell them something.
Right.
He said, "Let me tell you something. You go in," he said, being a snitch is like being pregnant. You either are or you're not. You go in there and tell them one thing and you don't tell them everything, they'll convict you of everything you've told them.
Right.
You got to tell on your mama when you go in there. And I don't like you nor your attitude, so I'm getting on out of here. So I went and saw another guy. Oh, he was much better. He told me the same thing. So I went to the courthouse where I was supposed to meet him. I said, "I got to buy some time here." And so 3 or 4 o'clock, whatever time it was, hot in Miami, and great big marble pillar sticking up in front of the courthouse. And I kind of got behind one, and I saw him coming, 3 carload, just like they did with the federales.
Great.
And they got him in the middle, and they got the machine guns, and they looking this way, and they looking out. And they stopped right in front of me, 2 steps down. They looking all this way. And I came down, and I hit the top of that car. Bam! Hey, shit.
Yeah.
They went crazy in there. They turning around trying to find where it comes.
That's not nice.
And I said, "See how easy it would be."
I'm sure they loved you for that. They were already fans of yours.
Anyhow, I think when they got over, found out they weren't bombed, they was all.
Yeah, that's true too.
So I said, "I'm having trouble with a lawyer." "Well, use mine. We'll see you, So, all right, took his card.
Barry says this?
Uh-huh. Okay. Use his lawyer.
Okay.
He's wingback. So I said, "All right, Barry." So I went to the Festival Restaurant in Coral Gables that night. And Barry probably knew I would be there. And he came in with Debbie. And it was on my birthday, 1986, I guess it was. Yeah, January 26th. And we was about finished, so we waited for them. And then I went over and had dessert with them. And I just hugged Barry's neck. I said, "My friend, they're going to kill you." He said, "Oh, no." I said, "Barry, listen, look at me. They're going to kill you."
He really wasn't worried.
I don't know. He was an arrogant sucker. Just he would bait the police in Louisiana. They hate him. They marched by his camp, coughing all of them to make sure the sucker was dead.
Yeah.
Y'all ain't got sense enough to catch me. What you burned up this government gas?
Well, you have to have a little bit of that gumption, right, to be in that business anyway, right?
I don't know. I didn't have it. I didn't bother them.
Yeah. Yeah. And you would have known. I mean, you already did know, hey, you cross these fools like this and take all these pictures, and Colombians don't hang out and wait for you.
Exactly. So anyway, we went, Mari and I took children, went to Brazil, and a few months later, he killed him.
He assassinated the Colombians.
Yeah.
Assassinated him, yeah.